technology. So what do you consider the biggest achievement of India's science and innovation ecosystem so far, and how will the government measure success over the next 3 to 5 years in terms of research or deep tech startups, industry adoption, innovation competitiveness?
No, I think the biggest achievement that is, and I think the credit for that goes to Prime Minister Modi, is that he accorded the highest degree of priority to technology, to innovation, to startups. He himself chose to become a brand ambassador. I don't think any of his Independence Day addresses has been without a scientific declaration. For example, in the first Independence Day address, he spoke about Swachhata. The second time, he spoke about digital India, then digital health. Twice in his address, he spoke about deep ocean mission. Then he spoke about Gaganyaan. All these are Independence Day addresses. And today, the very fact that the room is full of the mainstream media is itself a change, because we didn't receive much of media attention as far as our science endeavors is concerned. And for that, the credit goes to all these experts sitting on the right and left of me. For example, space gave us space in the media through Chandrayaan-3. This has now become virtually a household interest for everyone to, try to explore what is happening. So I think the biggest achievement is that we have connected the common citizen to India's scientific journey, scientific progress, and made him realize that, okay, you have a stake in this. And so also after Operation Sindhur, when the common citizen realized that we could be so good even in the modern warfare, where the physical contact is very minimal, it's more of atomic energy and space technology. There also we excelled and proved our credibility to the rest of the world, as a result of which indigenous defense equipment is now being purchased by other countries, more so after Operation Sindhur. So we have established ourselves as a first-line nation, and the common citizen finds a stake in our scientific progress. So I think that is the biggest achievement.
Okay, and sir, in the space sector, if I ask what are government's top priorities for scaling India's commercial space economy in areas such as satellite manufacturing, Earth observation, or launch services?
No, we have already started. In fact, 5 years back, after what the media described as the unlocking of the space sector, this journey has already started. We were just a decimal economy. We just were one-digit startup. Today, we are over 400 space startups. Our economy is 8 to 9 million. And the scale of ascent is so high that we hope to be $40-45 billion in the next 8-10 years. And that means space economy is going to be an important component of India's overall economy, which was not so till about 10 years back. So that is the biggest achievement. Space has become a very huge stake in India's future growth story. And secondly, on the one hand, we have proven our mettle in our space missions, whether it is Chandrayaan-3 or say upcoming Gaganyaan, that we are second to none. We are better than them in many ways. We are topping through. I think what is often not reported in media, or maybe it is not noticed, is that India is one country which has used this space technology also in the infrastructure development, more so than many other countries. Our Gati Shakti is a global success story. Monitor the timelines, etc. Our Swamitra program, our Amrit City program, all these programs are driven by space technology and drones.
And so lastly, ISRO has faced recent mission setback and launch failure. So how is the government balancing investment in long-term objectives of ISRO with need to strengthen missions reliability, and what benchmark should Indians use to assess whether ISRO is on track to become a leading global space power over the next decade?
No, I think your question is well taken, but at the outset I would not, I would hesitate using the term failure, because there is no such thing as failure in a space mission. It is sometimes delay, sometimes some other kind of a maybe setback, which actually is a learning experience. And even if you take it that way, if you call every unsuccessful or half successful attempt as a failure, statistically our number of so-called failures is much lesser than even USA. Our Chandrayaan-3 went on the first attempt, Mars went in the first attempt. So that way we cannot be, we have a better statistical record as well. And of course, as well as PSLV is concerned, there were certain issues which have been resolved, and very soon we'll be back on the track. Yeah, it's come out and we worked on that.
the problem be detected and
Yes, yes.
and what was it?
That may not be easy to share in a public platform, but the experts are working on it.
So you're supposed to have 6 launches in the first 6 months. That is what you said in the last parliament session. In the meeting parliament session. But first 6 months we have just had one launch.
No, that's because in space, you see what happens is once you miss one date timeline, then it's not like that, okay, next Monday I come. You have to ask the stars and the planets, like marriage is made in heaven. The next date is determined by the positioning of the planets and other things. So it happens, it's not unusual. But what I said in the parliament, to what you are referring is, that there was a question that following what happened in PSLV, and since we have opened the space sector to private sector, both domestically and internationally, is there a possibility that there will be lack of interest in investing in our space sector? I said no. I said no because out of the 18 launches that we had envisaged, Dr. Nair, for this year, I think as many as 16 had private participation. So I said the interest is not lost, it is sustained. That's what I said. Because for those outsiders, it may appear to be, failure or whatever you say. But those who are involved in it, even in the private sector, they know that it's a part of the game. So they don't take it like that. They don't get disheartened by that.
So when is the next launch?
Let's see. Okay, you want to give the PSLV deadline?
No, already we are building the rocket and maybe within a month, that's what we are talking.
Which mission?
GSL.
GSL.
The more that you are concerned about.
First we are going for GSL, subsequently GSL.
Sir, although you have addressed everything in the opening contributions are very motivating, but I have a few key issues concerned to startups. One is, why does India R&D spending remain below many developed countries despite ambitions of becoming global innovation leader? And my second question is, what are the major obstacles preventing Indian among universities from appearing among the world's top research institutions?
What was the first question?
Sorry, first question is, why does India R&D spending remain below compared to many developed countries?
No, I think the answer to the first question is twofold. A, if you are going strictly by the R&D funding of the by the government, that too has gone up, even in the sectors like space. The budget under the Modi government has in the last 12 years gone up by more than 100% in each sector, whether it's a DST, whether it's space, whether it's DBT, whether it's CSIR. But when you compare it to the other countries, as I said earlier also, now we are into global strategies, strategizing ourselves on global patterns. So the overall R&D funding is not necessarily to be determined by the government share. It would also include the private share. So that's why I am insisting the private contribution and private investments need to be scaled up as much as possible, as fast as possible. That is also the idea behind these industry outreach meetings, and it is going up. This space has shown a miraculous difference in economy. From this economy, it has reached here for one single digit startup, it has reached more than 400. One of them has turned a unicorn just 1 week back. So this has happened after the engagement of the private sector. So I agree with you, to match that, only we are now following this strategy, because we have to increase our investments, our funds, and that we are not even, reluctant, or we don't have reservations even in allowing the foreign investors. We have in fact done FDI relaxations in space sector, 100% for some components, 75% in some other areas. So we are very incentivizing.
So how can you reduce dependence on imported critical technologies and achieve greater self-reliance?
So that will also happen through these methods only. The more investment. See, we don't have lack of human resource. We have all the human talent. In fact, our human talent is running the foreign science and technology. All the R&D the 3 big IT companies are run by Indian boys, Indians, NRI Indians. One is Mandela, other is Sanjay, the third one just last week, Aroda. So all 3 major IT companies. And they are all gone from here, not many years back. One from IIT, one from here, one from... So our talent is very much intact. And now many of them want to come back also, because when they went out, possibly they didn't find those kind of opportunities for which they were meant for, with which they had trained themselves, and so there's nothing to grudge them, because they were looking for, their own growth, which possibly they didn't find optimally available here. But now everything is available. Now the other part is the investment part, the funding part. So India being a diverse country, being a heterogeneous country with so much of the welfare programs also simultaneously going on, we have to have a collective arrangement of funding, which is now started happening. It started happening only in the last 1 decade. In space, only 5 years back. In nuclear sector, we have just opened up. We have not even rolled out rules. But the investors have already started showing interest both domestically as well as internationally.
But at the same time, my question is direct also. Many startups are holding up so fast. Why? Around 843 startups have been folded up in Karnataka in the last 2 years.
See, that is one of the reasons why we have this RISE conclave. And that is not something which is happening only in Bengaluru or only in India. It will happen anywhere. As I said, to start a startup is easy. It's not that easy to sustain it and to raise it to entrepreneurship. For that, because once, now for example, this floriculture and aroma mission are picking up. More and more boys getting into this. So I insisted we need to add value to this. We got in touch with some of the French investors, because they have a huge perfume industry. I myself traveled to that village called Grass Village, which is a perfume village in France. Then connected them to the consulate general there, and got them connected with the CSIR authorities. And we requested, look here, we are looking for we are approaching you for 2 things. A is your collaboration financially, and secondly, you add value by fusion, because you have a huge variety of aromas. So when a particular domain becomes popular or profit making, the more and more people enter into this. Like IT also happens from, and then the profitability goes down. Whatever lofty phraseology you use, at the end of the day, what matters is how much money you are making out of it. So when more people enter it, the quantum of money goes down. For that you have to scale up your. So I think that is what we have to actually work on, and that happens everywhere.
Honorable Minister, I am expecting a headline from this, one of my questions, a couple of questions. I know you are starting to smile. What is the status of India's moon landing by 2014? What is the status as of now?
As of now, we have the same timeline. Bharat Antariksh Station by 2035 and an Indian landing on the surface of moon in 2040.